Hey, it's Azriel Lawless. And once again, you have taken the elevator straight into Vella. Found yourself another Lawless interview where we interview Vella authors and get to know them and find out what makes them tick. Today we have Sylvia Hubbard with us, and she is a very accomplished author, and I'm so happy to have her here on the show. Sylvia, how you doing?
I am great and I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for taking time and being here on Vella. I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody I have on the show. The very first question, because it's what I want to know first, is when did you get started writing?
I would say I actually got started writing. According to my mother, it was, when I used to lie to her all the time. So she would give me a butt whooping and then make me write my lie down and come back and read the lie back to her. So I learned two things. One is that the lie is not affected by the person is not affected by the lie. It's by the intensity or work you put into a lie. And then number two, lies look so much better on paper than in real life because you get hurt when you say them out of your mouth. So I stopped lying, which is probably why I don't have a lot of friends. And I just started wanting to write. And I really, really decided that I was going to be a writer. Probably like really got serious in 2000, and it was more like 1999 when the Y2K bug hit everybody and we all thought the world was about to end. And I was like, well, if we're gonna die by the end of this year, I might as well just finish a book, because I would get to that point in the story and then be like, okay, I know what's gonna happen, I don't have to finish. So I would never finish a book. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a book and finish the book. And I did. I spent like that whole year just writing this book. And then I finished it. And then a friend of mine, that's when the what is it, the publishing houses were coming out with the quick publish things and schemes and stuff. So she found one and she was like, oh, it's a free thing, just send your book in and I just want to see if it works. So I sent my book in, and then 3 weeks later, like I think it was February of 2000, I got a package on the porch, and I felt like a stork had dropped off a baby.
A baby book.
A baby book. I was like, oh, I'm a new mother author.
Dear God. Okay. So that must have felt incredible. So that was Feb 20 of 20.
Yeah, that was
200. Dear God. Not quite.
I'm not that old.
Some days
I look great though. Yeah, so like I started it. So I kind of did the publishing journey backwards, where I learned more about marketing, and then jumped back into writing publishing later on, like 4 years later. Then I published my next book, and that's when I had to learn about the whole publishing journey, writing journey, editing journey, and everything like that. So I'm kind of grateful I made that misstep, because it's 10% to write the book, 10% to publish, but it's 80% to market. So I kind of learned how to find readers, get readers. And this was even before people would even trust, giving your money on the internet or even buying a book or anything. So I kind of learned like the hard way. But when you get those PayPal, you got money emails, I'm going to say from the day one till now, it still feels good. So
every ding sends a little thrill through me.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, let's do this again. Can you ding me? Can you just
I love it. Can you ding me in USD? Thank you. So we're up to, okay, so February of 2000, you wrote your book, you published it, you put it up, you decided, okay, I've learned a lot. So about February of no February, you didn't give me a month. So somewhere in 2004, 2005, you published your first book. What was that?
That was called Stone's Revenge. So that was like my whole independent publishing project. So it was, of course, it was the baby book. It was the book. This was the book I've been working on for so long. And I was like, okay, now I'm going to take a chance on myself, learn how to do it so then I can do it right and see how it goes. And it was a failure, but it was, you learn. My father always says you're earning or learning. So,
Right.
I learned, what I did wrong. And I learned from that. And so from that point on, I just started building, like, okay, come out with the next book, learn from that, come out with the next book. So then it's just like, it was like taking stairs, getting higher and higher. And I just learned from every launch of what I should do, what doesn't work, where I can find readers, how to find readers, how to publish right, and things like that. All while being like at that time, a single mom, going through a major divorce, barely making $9 an hour, and just trying to, do one thing at a time. But I didn't want to wait and put my dreams aside. And then I wanted to show my children that if you have a passion and a gift inside of you, don't wait for life to pass you by in order to wait for it to, there's some free time here. Now I can work on it. I wanted to show them you can work on your dreams, still be a productive citizen, still be a responsible adult in the world, and still be able to create something and make money from it. So, and that's what I was trying to do. I said, if I just keep doing what, I am gifted at, that, God will make room, or your life makes room for your gift. And I've learned that over the years. Like, you literally start putting your time and attention towards your gift, your life will make room for it, even when it doesn't feel like it. It is slowly moving things out the way for you. And it may not look like it at the time, but when you can sit back like 10, or like for me, 20 years later, I can say, wow, that happened because I needed to sit down and write that book, or that happened because, this needed to get done in my literary career. So
Now, if you folks watching this haven't figured it out, Sylvia Hubbard here is a very accomplished writer. We're talking 55 romance novels in the 20 years that she's been writing, and 8 #1 bestsellers out of these. And so she has definitely run the gamut of publishing, self-publishing on Amazon, and has done really well with it. So when did you first learn about Kindle Vella?
I learned about Kindle Vella back in, it had to be, I think it was early 2020. And I have like a lot of literary friends, and I was actually talking to an agent friend of mine, and one of her clients had actually been approached by the publishers about this episodic program they were thinking about. And she was like, it sounded just like what you used to do back in the day, because we had known each other for a long time. And what I used to do back on my blog was that I would actually publish a chapter on my blog for my readers. And she was like, it sounded just like that, Sylvia. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep my, my ear to the train track to see what happens. So when they announced in April that they were going to be, pushing this out, they just didn't tell us what day they was going to be pushing it out.
Right.
I immediately, like, soon as I knew they were going to do it, I immediately just started writing my book. Like, immediately.
Awesome.
I didn't even wait. And when people would ask me like, okay, when is it coming? I just, I made my own website about it. Like, on my website, you could click here and these are the details, and subscribe for more information. Cause we were kind of like literally in the dark.
Yes,
It was
yes.
coming. It was like when Jesus was coming. I think we thought Jesus was going to come before this popped off. Like, geez, I'm gonna hear the horns before Amazon released this book.
So you're riding along, you don't even know, right?
Yeah, so I just went ahead and put 15 episodes in the queue, and just, okay, let's just see what's gonna happen. So when it popped off, the first round, it was really fun. To me, it was like just easing back into doing it on my blog again. So I kind of already knew how to hype my audience up. I knew about episodic writing, which is different than just writing straight fiction. It's a whole different ball game in terms of just writing a fiction story with suspense and romance. You got to keep the cliffhangers going, you got to keep the plot going, you got to keep the reader, the end user, wanting to know what is going to happen by the next chapter and what is going to happen at the end constantly. So it gives you a challenge as a writer to keep yourself on your toes, because your reader is thinking 3 times faster than you. Which
Not
is kind of
only
like
than
raising
you, but
kids.
yeah, like the younger readers are really like
Oh, they
zipping,
will zip.
zipping.
Yeah, it takes you like 5 freaking days to write a episodic, and they'll read it in 2 minutes, and they're like, okay, what's the next one coming? And you're like, that took me 5 days. I'm
Dude.
happy you tried to read it while driving, but I I don't got anything else in me right now.
Well, good
So yeah.
Lord God. Okay. So that must have been She Works Hard for the Money, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I really pushed myself on this one. I decided I was going to challenge myself as a writer in terms of like the kind of character I wanted to create. So he was Beck, the protagonist is the most different kind of male I ever. He was just misogynistic. He didn't care. He was real rash and cold. His real name was Rebecca, so he was bullied a lot when he was a child. So he kind of was raised like he has no couth about him.
So his old man just took that song, A Boy Named Sue, quite literally. And
Like literally, well, it was his mom who did it. So
his name is Rebecca.
His name is Rebecca, and everybody calls him Beck. So it's just like, yeah, he'll punch somebody in a heartbeat. And then on top of that, and so then I took Raina, and I wanted to find a plot or a twist in their love story as to what I didn't see out in the romance business. And what I didn't see, what I saw a lot of what is it, straight to lesbian, but I never saw lesbian to straight. Right?
Oh.
So I took that and decided, hey, let's see what happens from from lesbian to straight, and how does that work out? So that's what Raina is. She has been in a long-term lesbian relationship, and she says, hey, to get over a broken heart, get with a broken man. And thank you, Beck.
Wow, dude.
So this is their kind of love story, and it was a fun roller coaster ride trying to figure it out and just seeing what the audience thought of Beck. And it turned out the way I wanted to turn out. The readers do love him, and it was fun. So
well, did he learn not to be misogynistic?
I really don't make my characters redeeming, just a little bit more lovable.
So he's still a dick, but we like him.
He has that Godzilla effect on you where, in the beginning, you don't like him, and then by the end, you're like rooting for him. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. I like that. So
yeah,
She Works Hard for the Money. How many episodes do you currently have up?
For that one, it is a completed Vella, and it's 48 episodes.
Lovely. So it's completed. Yay. Congratulations.
Yes, you're getting a great story. And hey, I was like, this is just wonderful. Of course he has brothers. So I'm actually gonna bring the story back, open it back up, and add more to it. So, but for right now, it's completed.
Yeah, love it. Love it. So then you came out with another Vella, and what is that one?
That is called Her Substitute Husband, His Boss.
Now, come on, man. What on earth? What on earth,
Well,
girl? What are you
I went back to
smoking?
the
You pass that over here.
well, I went back to, to that thought where what I don't see out there, let me put out there. And I didn't see, like, I saw a lot of throupling books, but usually it was when the man always goes gay. And I was like, well, what happens if there's just two straight guys, don't have never met before in life, but they have this desire of wanting to share just one woman or one wife? It could
Holy
happen,
crap, dude.
I like the shock look.
You ever think there's a reason you don't see this stuff? Shit, man. All right. I'm just kidding. I'm sitting here going, yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, husband's
that's
like, what are you
was.
reading, honey? Nothing. Magazine.
So I like to take the what if and see how I can make it work. And then I didn't see a lot of married couples try to, how do they work this out? How do, like, after years of we're just married and we're just two people living in a house, what do you do to do something spicy and keep it if you want to keep it? So how does that work out?
So you bringing in like a college girl, a toy?
No, actually, I brought in another guy.
That's right. That's right.
I brought in his boss, his new boss at his new job, and they invite the boss over for dinner, and dinner turns into let's go up to the bedroom. So the boss, the boss kind of likes it and says, "Hey, can we keep this going? I needed a wife too, so let's do this."
She's nice.
She's
She's nice.
she
Liked
and
it
he
so
feels,
far.
the husband feels, he loves to work. He's a workaholic. He's really good at his job, but he feels like he's not giving his wife enough husband.
Attention.
Bringing another husband in to, okay, when I can't do something, you can do something, and bam, bam, bam. I know. But a lot of the readers are going in thinking this is just a regular throupling story. But it's not.
Anyway.
Because I do throw suspense on there, and they both, well, the boss owns this gaming company that he's trying to reintegrate. So I work with a lot of computer developers and software people. So I bring in their technology, and the husband's a QA. He's one of the best. And so I'm bringing in this technology suspense element. Someone's trying to actually destroy the boss's company. It turns out to be the husband's best friend. And so he's mad because he wanted to get on the throuple, but the boss is in on the throuple. So it just becomes this, I know.
Okay, now how does the main female character feel about this?
And that's why I was in her head a lot. It was so hard, because trying to figure out, like, if my husband came to me and said, hey, you know what, I know that I'm not fulfilling you as a husband, let's bring someone else in, I would question, like, okay, that means you don't love me. But they do have this love. They have a passion for each other, in terms of they care about each other, because they've been together for 20 years. They've been through so much stuff. She's carried him through almost everything. So being in her head and seeing her work out this, is it okay to be attracted to this guy? Is it okay to, want to be with this other guy that her husband's pushing on her? Is it okay? He makes it okay. So then she starts opening up to the other guy. So
she likes him.
She does like him, and he has so many characteristic traits that are similar to her husband. It's like they were raised separately, but they're kind of like the same person, and they do kind of the same things, nuances and things like that. It's really weird, but yeah, she just, hey, so so it's fun because I'm bringing these three people together and showing that, adults can be in a relationship together like this if they want. If they want it to work, they're going to make it work.
Sure, sure.
So
And
it
that's
was
true.
it
That's
was
true
it
of
was a nice what if.
any polyamorous type of relationship.
Right.
It's different every time because it's different because the people are different.
Right. And so
And
yeah, they get into the suspense element. The best friend gets jealous, really jealous the boss is moving in on where he wanted to be in, and it just, yeah, it comes to
I'm
this
just wanting to know why everybody thought this main character woman was going to go for this, right? She,
and
she
that
just
was the
looks like
fun part.
that kind of girl. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it goes to show you never know what you're going to accept until you try it out.
Try anything once,
Right.
maybe twice.
Hey, just a taste, just a taste.
So are these like, ripped dudes? Are these like the guys that we see on the covers, their shirts ripped off?
Well, I made sure I made these guys. They're a little bit above, like a little bit below 6 feet, lean built. They like to keep themselves in shape. One, because the husband, he came from a very obese family, so he that's his thing, is staying in shape. The other guy, he just loves to work out because it's less stress and stuff. So they become workout partners. They start to do things together because they have such similar lifestyles. So they all have meaning to their madness. And I wanted to make them as husbandly as possible because, most husbands do, you know, have their pouches here and there. They're not perfect. So I made them kind of like, okay. And they work at the computer. So, they snack constantly. So
Well, you
they're,
must
but
have
they're,
been around some computer people. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, I do. So it was kind of fun. I even had like a QA contact me, and he said he had never read a romance before. He said, this is the best story. He said he loves that I put all the technical terms in, and he says, I was, because the guy's job path is to become a quality engineer, and he's like, you hit it on the mark. He says usually people go into software. He says no, but a lot of QAs want to go into engineering and blah blah blah. So I was like, thank you very much.
that is
I
wonderful,
do my
wonderful,
research. I try
wonderful.
to do my research when I'm doing projects and stuff. Because even in She Works Hard for the Money, Raina she did, what was she, a tow, what was it, a tractor trailer. She worked in construction. So she was a forklift operator. So I had to learn how to run a forklift and do those motions that she had to do in the book and everything. So yeah, I had to research construction and construction projects, how they're built, because Beck was a construction manager, so I had to know his job. So yeah, I really get into the research of it. So it's not just you're just reading about this couple or these people's lives. You're really learning about what they go through on a daily basis.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. So the next question I want to ask you is, are you now writing full time? Are you able to do that and that earns your full-time living?
Well, I could, but I love working where I work.
Okay.
It's like I'm waiting for my daughter to get out of college because we have her insurance on her insurance. So it's like I could walk away and just be on my husband's insurance and be like, I ain't working no more. But I tell myself that when my daughter gets out of college in a couple of years, I'll probably retire because I bought a house on my royalties. So I think
Well, yeah, okay. If you bought a house on your royalty, surely you're able to
I think
step
I'm able to
away.
walk away. Yeah. And now I just, I kind of squirrel it away in my retirement. So then I'm able to, do more and everything. And my other kids are all taken care of. So it's kind of like, yeah, I could, because it's nice, when you have a huge back catalog and then you're doing this with the bonuses, you're kind of like, okay, I can actually sit and write and not do anything else. It's kind of
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So,
Well, that's
but
fantastic. It's
yeah.
fantastic. And that catalog, you can go out there and massage it anytime you want to. You can
And actually,
respin your
I do.
novels.
I actually do. If I need like a doctor or a lawyer in my books, which I do, I often do, is I'll pull from one of my old books. So if I had a doctor or a lawyer as a main character, I'll reintroduce them in a new book. Like in Beck, he needed a lawyer. So I went to one of my books called Black's Innocence, and it was Tyler Black was a lawyer. So he's in that one. So
And
in
how
this one,
exciting.
yeah, so yeah, in this one, her substitute husband, he's having this huge ball with big business people around the city. So I'm pulling like a lot of the big business guys from other books and intertwining them into the story. So it's
That's
like,
super exciting. I love that.
yeah, people are actually going to pick up the companion because in my author notes, I'll say, hey, you got to, because he needed an architect for the house he's trying to build. And so I mentioned Abigail McPherson is actually from Stone's Revenge, which was my passion book. And then people started picking that up. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like people actually go and find out
Yes,
about those
that's
other
super cool.
characters.
And good fans will really dig that.
Yeah, they do. They do like that because one girl she was reading, she said she had read the first Vella, and so she said I picked up like 7 books from that one. She says now I'm reading the second one. She's like, I might as well just buy the whole catalog. I was like, well, I don't complain. I'm not complaining if you do.
No, heck no, you're not. So Sylvia has 2 Vellas out there right now, and one is She Works Hard for the Money, and the other is her substitute husband. Now, what we don't know right yet is what is She Works Hard for the Money.
Oh, she works. You mean what kind of trope it is, or what kind of?
Yeah, what is it about?
Oh, so She Works Hard for the Money is basically about Rena, who is
We already did
leaving.
this. We did do this, didn't we?
Well, I didn't go into like all the detail where Beck, she's coming from one relationship to a lesbian relationship to Beck.
Yes.
But on Beck's terms, he's trying not to break things and he wants to have a future. So when he sees Rena, he knows that she can possibly be his future, but that wasn't Rena's plan. She just want to hit it and quit it. So it's a struggle because Beck don't like no.
I see. And because he's the classic male, the super strong. We were talking about that, right?
Yeah.
And he's kind of a dick. Okay, yeah. I don't know why I didn't think we talked about it. I just got so lost on the 2 husbands. You guys have to forgive me. I have a very vivid imagination. And
I can see it too. I can see it in your eyes, like you're like looking, like you're sitting there. Oh my God, you're so hilarious.
So I forgot we talked about anything else. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
That's
okay, now it's all coming back to me. The blood is returning to my brain. I'm good.
Keep it, trying to hold it together.
Maintain. Oh my God. Okay. Well, so is it hot in here? I don't know. But yeah, so you got to read some Sylvia Hubbard, people. That's all there is to it. Everybody needs to get their blood pumping.
Definitely.
So for sure.
Pick me up.
Now, the next question I want to ask you, I ask
Mhm.
everyone else as well, is are there any Vellas that you are reading that you would like to give a shout out to?
Well, I did start because I'm ending my Kindle Vella now. I started the marriage auction. I had been saving my tokens just so I could get through all of her episodes. I want to get through all of her episodes, so I have started that one, and it's very interesting. I like the concept. I adore like when writers are able to pull in so many characters all at once. So I and be able to keep you updated with them. So I do like the way she has laid out the book. So I'm always reading as a reader and a writer at the same time. And it's so much fun. Sometimes I get caught up in the reading part, and that's what is happening is then I have to go back and read it again because then my writer brain is like, what did she do that? And then I'll go back and read it. So I take twice as long to read any book because I have to analyze it at that point while I'm reading it. So,
Well, I don't have to ask you why you're reading the marriage auction. It's sitting at the #1 spot for,
well, I've been a fan of her work previously. I've read a couple of her works, and which I didn't even know it was actually I didn't know she was the author of the marriage auction. And then when I went back and I was like, okay, who wrote this? And then I went in my Kindle and I found out I had other books by her, and I was like, oh, okay. I have read her writing before, so I am like a small fan of her writing. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Like I just was gravitating towards what I like to read. So
okay. So the marriage auction, and what's her name?
Chase, because I was like, I don't keep up. Is it Chase? No, it's not Chase. It's oh girl, don't give me the lion.
Yeah, just
I know it's like right up in there. Okay, here it is. The marriage auction is bum bum bum. Audrey, yes, Carlan. Audrey
Audrey
Carlan.
Carlan. All right.
Yeah. And I
And
was real
then,
like it was before it was #1. I had gravitated towards it because I did like the cover of it with the 4 rings, and I was wondering what it was. And I kind of look at the covers before I look at the I look at what the book is about. I don't
well,
know
tell me,
why.
tell me what it is about. What is the marriage auction about?
So it's about these couples who they're at different stages. You know that there's 4 women, and each one is going towards the auction to the highest bidder. Then they are going to marry in this kind of clandestine wedding auction ceremony. So they are auctioned off to these highest bidders, and they go from there. So you get to meet these women who you don't know what you're going to get, and that's what happens. So you just read about their journeys into this auction thing. It's kind of it holds my attention because I've always wanted to do something like this. um and I like how she works it out in terms of making it believable why these women would want to do this, and how these men are over their lives, and the different characteristics of each person and how it
Now,
draws it out.
I completely understand why the women would want to do it, for the money, for the security, blah, 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 blah. Why do the
Right.
men want to do it? What's the upshot? Why are they buying a woman? Why do they have to buy a woman? Are they ugly,
It's
unfuckable
they
chuds?
all have
What's
like
wrong with
different
them?
they all have different reasons. But you're dealing with men with money who don't have time for things, and they just want, okay, let's just kind of like, okay, I'll take this one because I can afford it, and let's go. So it's kind of like they're buying property more or less.
Right.
But then
Okay.
they find out that there's more to it than that. Each thing has more secrets, or there's actually a desire to be with this person. They're shocked, like, oh my god, I didn't expect to be really attracted to this person that I chose. So
Oh, I see. I see.
yeah.
And then, okay.
And of course
Okay.
there's drama mixed in
Oh my
with
God.
it.
Yes. You got
So
to have the drama.
so it's kind of like it's kind of like you're getting 4 stories in one, 4 romances in one, and I that's what I kind of like about it. And I like how she you can actually differentiate, like, you know who you're with at the time. I like her writing in terms of, you know, who's talking at that time, or what couple you're dealing with at that time. It doesn't just, when I sometimes read multiple stories with multiple characters, you don't know who's talking and you got to go back. Another one I want to start, that's my next one, is the Daddy's Home, the Smoggy Universe. it's a it's another reverse harem erotic, but it's a slasher, so it's like these serial killers and they're going after one woman. So yeah, I want to read them. It's an erotic thriller. So
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is.
want to.
Have you ever read the whole thing?
I haven't read it. I read the first chapter, which kind of was very titillating.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to, like I said, I have to read one book at a time all the way through and then start on the next one. So that's my next one. I'm gonna taste is Daddy's Home, the Smoggy Universe.
I see. I see.
So those are my
Wow.
two shadows
Now,
because I know
Smoggy
I'm
is a writing team.
yeah. And that's what I'm interested in, is that I do want to see how that all comes together. So I would love to see how that all takes place.
Man, that's cool. All
Yeah.
right. All right. I've never had anybody, you know, that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a different kind of, I like different kind of works of writing. I love to, like, to be challenged, but I also, as a reader, I like to be challenged. So I try to read books that, you know, hey, if you challenge me, I'm gonna thank you. I've never read that one before. But so yes.
So if you now that you've seen Kindle Vella, now that you've had a taste of it, a year of it, almost 10 months or so,
Yeah.
what would you do to change it if you had all of the switches in front of you?
Well, at this point, and I think I've said this before in other interviews about it, I don't think at this point I would change anything, only in terms of the uploading. I wish it wasn't a 4-day. I wish it wasn't a 4-day. I wish it was more of like a 48-hour kind of thing, because then I could get kind of ahead of posting and stuff. Because sometimes I do have the episodes, sometimes I don't. But when I do, it would be nice to just be able to, okay, for 2 days, okay, that's in the queue and so forth. That 4 days just kind of frustrates me.
I think most of that was fixed, wasn't it, with this last update? I thought it was.
Yeah, with this last updates, but you still have to, I think you still have to wait almost 72 hours, like if you want to schedule posts a little bit over. So I know it's just like 1 day, you know, but it's just still, that'd be the only thing though. That's the only thing that really annoys me about it. Other than that, and I know some people have said they, you know, more contact with the reader and stuff like that. I don't think I would want to change anything in terms of the author notes. I don't want discussions or anything on Amazon. I would rather have my readers, and I think that's the whole point, is pull them into your world, get them to come to your website, or get them to come to your Facebook group or your Instagram, and have discussions over there, because then you can get them to join a mailing list. You can get them to learn more about you, see your back catalog, see what's going on in the future, instead of having, I don't want to give Amazon that meta. I want the meta. They get enough meta.
They do. They do.
At that point, I want to get the meta. So I think in terms of more contact with the reader, hey, the author's notes is more than fine. The poll was going a little bit over, but hey, you got to kind of see or gauge where they are.
But you can just ignore it.
You can ignore it. And you can always put a poll on your own site. Like, you literally could do your own poll.
Yeah, you can.
But like, yeah, I think at this point, other than the scheduling, I think it's almost perfect in terms of running a serial thing. And I don't feel like I'm stretched as a writer. I'm not over here, I'm not over there. Most of my books are on Amazon already. My audience is already on Amazon. their credit cards is already attached to Amazon. So bam, it kind of works out great for me as an author, and I don't feel like I'm being stretched to thinness by being over here, over here, over here, over here. So yes, I
Yeah,
like
you're
it.
thinking like me on that one. I'm gonna stick with Amazon, I think.
Right, because a lot of people are saying, well, I'll go put it on Patreon, I'll go put it on Radish, I'll go put it here. I'm cool. And even after your last episode, 30 days, I can do whatever I want to with it. I'll figure that out once I do it. So like for She Works Hard for the Money, I went ahead and put it over on Kindle Vella and left it like that. And it's brought me a nice little chunk of change for people who want to read the whole book at once. I'm good with that. For this one, her substitute husband, I'm like at 120 episodes at
Wow.
this point. The readers are still reading, which I'm like, wow. Like every time I post the episode and they read it, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm good with that of actually leaving this whole entire saga, which is, it's always been my dream to write a Thornbird saga. That's what I usually call it. I've always wanted to write a Thornbird saga. And
Really?
this is now my saga.
That
My
thick.
official, yeah, it's pretty much where I wrote so much that the Google Doc wouldn't let me write in it anymore. That's how big this book is. Like Google Doc was like, you can't add any more to this document. But yeah, it's just,
You
yeah,
have
this is,
reached the end of the world. You will fall off the edge.
that's how I felt.
Shit.
Like Google, actually, I overstuffed Google. How could you break Google Docs? Like really? So yeah, basically this book broke Google
You
Docs.
broke it.
So yeah, but I mean, this is my saga. So I'm gonna leave this book on here and then just pluck the characters from here and put them in other books,
Mm.
like I usually do. So this will just make it even more fun because I'll get a continuous residual income from here. And that's just one more thing that authors can do. So we should all have multiple
I
income
agree.
streams.
I so wholeheartedly agree. I wish I could get my friend to see the logic in that. I just don't see the downside.
Yeah, and
I
it
talk about her
actually
really
is.
often. She's like you, she's got 60 books out there that she's written in the last decade, 12 years. And she just won't come over to Vella because she's like, she thinks her fan base will get upset, And I'm like, well, use a different name, dude. Do something.
It's a nice residual income. Anytime you're not trying to expand yourself, in my opinion, this is not everybody's opinion, but anytime you don't expand yourself as a writer, you are limiting yourself to getting more readers. So saying your reader base is going to be mad, what are they going to get mad until you put it in book form? Yes. But right at that point, while you're doing Vella, you're actually entertaining new readers to then try to get them to, hey, check out my other books, which is what has happened to me, is that my old readers know how I can put out a book, and I can put out a book in almost every form. I can do audio, I can do, paperback only, I can do Vella, I can do episodic, I can do serial, I can do just the paperback and just throw it out there as an ebook. So giving yourself that variety, but as long as you're keeping it on Amazon, you're kind of like, hey, the credit card is there.
Yeah.
I don't think they care what farm they get it in, as long as they don't have to switch up credit cards and go get their purse.
Yeah. That's the acid test, man. That's why Amazon got so big, is because if you remember, they got so big because they got the rep for everything. It's okay. It's okay. If you order it through Zon, it's all right.
It's okay. Everything, yeah. You're not going to get hacked. You're not going to get, nothing's going to happen. But It makes it easier as authors.
And the shit shows up.
Right. And to know that, like, if I publish a book and you hit buy, you get it in less than 0.3 seconds. that's fun for us to know that our readers are getting that like as soon as possible, and it helps us out.
Yeah.
Like, I just know you're going to get your product and there's no customer service on our part, then let's just do this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no
I kind of
kidding.
love it. I love it that I am able to expand without thinning myself out. And so it's no problem for me. I have no problem with it at all. Like, literally, it's just that scheduling in the back end. And
Yeah.
I do let my readers, I even let my readers in on when we're in our readers group. I show them like the back end and what's coming up, so then they can get their tokens ready.
You act like these tokens cost a lot of money. They're a penny a piece.
I just want to make sure, you know, you got to say, Sylvia, I can't read your next episode. Girl, I already told you how much it's going to cost. Put your ducats away now. But I do try to keep it between like 2,500 to 3,000
Okay.
words per
Okay.
episode. So to kind of, because I know that actually is just enough before their eyes get tired. And it gives me a moderate time to write a nice, either soft or hard cliffhanger per episode. So that's
My
what
eyes get tired around 1,500. If the episode's over 1,500, I start scrolling like I start skimming.
Well, that's when I throw a sex scene in.
Oh,
I know you'll stop.
that's when somebody sits on a banana. Okay. All right.
Literally.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. So Sylvia, we know how Sylvia keeps your attention now. All right, people.
Right.
Yes, those links are right down there. Click on them.
Click on. Right. Making me blush.
I love you, smut writers. I tell you. So I don't even have to ask the question. I don't even have to ask the question if the bedroom door is open and you're writing or not. I'm sure it is.
Doing both. I'm researching.
With who, man? With who? Pizza guy?
No, with my husband.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
I guess that's why he likes being married to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's that. Yeah, these dudes are pretty happy when they get married to a writer and they need to do some sexual research. Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
But it's fun to hear his comments about things, like when especially because I like to get into the husband's head a lot in this book, to deal with the boss and his wife. So it's kind of fun hearing his reactions to things, and I'm like, okay, so in this situation, what would you do?
Well, okay, let me ask you this. What did he say he would do? Did he just like flat out say, well, I wouldn't do it in the first place? Sylvia,
well, for this one, he said he would never share me. He would never share me.
By God, and that's what you want him to say too, isn't it?
I do. Yeah, you do, because
this
is, but I have to write the fantasy just to see.
I'd kill that motherfucker. That's probably what he said. He didn't know. No.
Right.
No.
No.
Okay, so after he said no, that never worked. Then he kind of he'd allowed himself to think about it.
But he gives me the opinions of, like, when you're dealing with work stress or wife stress, or what do I do when this situation happens, or how do I go back and fix this, or just because I want to make it towards that a man is thinking about this. It's not coming from a female brain, it's coming from a male brain. So I want the readers to see that you're gonna see different aspects of him in terms of what a man really is going to do in this situation. So I want it to be as believable as possible, not what I would want a man to do, but actually what a man would do. And that's what makes it really fun, because then as a writer, I got to figure out, okay, now that you caused this problem for yourself, how do I get you out of this situation? So
wow. Definitely. Okay, well, trying to get inside a dude's head that's all misogynistic and strong like the one you've got in oh Lord God,
that
she
was
works
just,
hard for the money. Oh
yeah,
man. You want to try to get in that guy's head, it just sound like, ugh,
it was hard
woman.
because sometimes I would take on his characteristics, just be snappy or really snarky at people, and it was just like, okay, I can't think like that, and I can't say that.
No, you can't be talking like that.
I'm glad I wrote him during the pandemic because I think I would have lost a lot of people in my life because I was really quite ornery in terms
Is that
of
right? I
yeah,
can't
because
really look at you. I don't know if I can see that or not.
I was I was even saying sorry to myself because sometimes I would think stuff and then Beck would jump in my brain and I'd be like, okay, I can't think that. That's, that's horrible.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I'm glad I wrote him during the pandemic because yeah, I would have been a horrible person.
Good grief. Okay. Well, that's pretty telling. Certainly is making me want to have a look. I'll tell you that.
Have a little taste of Beck.
Uh-huh. Have a little taste. Just a little taste.
Just a little taste. Well, I do like the romance. I've always loved romance. And I think ever since I was 12, I knew I wanted to be a romance author because I was like in the library and I saw the Fabio cover. Remember the Fabio? you remember you remember the Fabio? I was 12 and I wanted to read this book so bad. I took it up to the librarian, and of course, she did her job and she told me I couldn't have that book. So I did what any Detroiter would do and I stole it.
The girl after my own heart right there. Well, you
I
said
brought
no.
it back about 10 years later. I just left it on the counter. But
I did
I
something real similar, but I put it in the book the book
oh,
bin.
yeah, I felt so horrible. But I read that book and I was only 12 years old. And I knew I wanted to write stories that just blew my heart away. Like it just, like to wrap a romance around this story of these people's lives and everything was going on. And I think it was a Johanna Lindsay book, and she always has this drama going on in the person's life and or a suspense being carried on in the background, but then it's this romance that's just weaved about. I thought it was just the most amazing thing, and I was like, I want to write this. I want to write happily ever afters, no matter what. So I was like, that's what I want to do. And I guess coming from Detroit, we got a lot of drama and violence. So it kind of mixed right in, in just bringing in the city. All my books mostly take place in Detroit, and it's just so much fun to have all of this happen all at once.
It
So
sounds wonderful. It really does. It sounds like something I would want to read because it sounds like you're really writing from a place of passion, and
yeah,
that's exciting. That's always exciting. So
yeah.
let's see. I've lost my place now.
I'm sorry.
No, I haven't. Okay, so we've already asked the question what you might do to improve Vella, and you've said not a damn thing. So of course you didn't say that, I did. And so the next thing I want to say is, what would you like to say to the folks who are clicking on the links that we're going to have in the description down here when we post your video? What would you like to say to them?
Enjoy the ride, enjoy the experience, really immerse yourself, because that's what fiction is. It's a way to take us away from what we are and release the beliefs that we believe in, just to enjoy that moment of just fun, excitement, dirty, delicious drama.
Exactly. Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
And I really want to thank you for taking your time. It is wonderful that you came out here and gave us a Lawless interview so everybody could get to know you. I'm pleased that I got to know you today and got to talk to you. So
It
again,
was an
thank you so
honor.
much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to stop recording, y'all. We'll see you later.